Bad news, listener. Your cover is compromised, and the angels are coming for you. Time to go loud or go home. You are plugged into God Complex, a story about Demon the Descent. Welcome to Chroniclers of Darkness, a narrative horror podcast set in the RPG New World of Darkness. Due to adult language and the violent nature of the stories told, this podcast is rated M for mature, and we strongly encourage listener discretion.
Episode 1 Glitch.
Return to your homes.
I'm Tony Jacobs with your local news at 11 p.m.
Get away from the windows! Don't look at it! Get away!
The mayor's office in Con Edison released a joint statement today about the events of last night's power plant phenomenon. Both sources cited a disruptive transformer, and there is no further cause for alarm. The transformer was overdue for a routine checkup, and there are no reports of any injuries.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, it's the Rapture! Somebody hide Nicole!
Oh my god!
Oh my god, it's aliens!
Holy shit! Holy shit, dude! Oh my god!
My phone camera isn't the best, but the sky's like crystal green blue. It's really pretty, but it was dark a moment ago, so I don't know. It's like an act of God or some shit.
Because Union National Security, they didn't pick up.
Back to you in the studio.
10 days prior. At 7 a.m., Ashley Burke's alarm clock buzzes and she wakes up. At 7:06 a.m., she gets out of bed and goes to the shower. She hears her daughter Becky slowly move down the hallway to the kitchen. At 7:40 a.m., Ashley Burke's daughter Becky says goodbye and goes down the stairs to catch a bus to Manhattan. Becky spent the weekend at Ashley's request, even though Becky has a dorm on campus. There is nothing suspicious about a mother asking her daughter to stay over for the weekend. At 8:20 a.m., Ashley Burke can be seen jogging alongside the river at Astoria Park. In an attempt to be fitter, happier, more productive, comfortable, not paranoid, she continues her run. As always, she is in her faded red jogging suit with the faded stain on the right leg across the white stripe. Today, she runs in short bursts between power walking sessions. While stretching next to a light post, Ashley will creep her hand to the blind side of her shoe. She will find a USB drive taped to the back side of a poster for last year's Riverside 4th of July fireworks show. When she stands again to stretch, she will breathe deeply with her eyes closed, as if enjoying the fresh air. Her hands will move the USB to the insert drive behind her left ear as her eyes become transparent, with dimly lit curly filaments like a light bulb. At 8:53 a.m., Ashley Burke leaves Astoria Park and stops by the upscale grocery store that the neighborhood loves to hate. She will scan her phone by a register for an updated list of digital coupons. She accidentally leaves the flashlight on her phone and waves it by the conveyor belt. She is relieved to see no infrastructure hiding beneath her. At 10:13 a.m., near 46th Street, nearly 2 miles from her home, Ashley Burke buys a bottle of sparkling water. This is her excuse to use the bathroom at the local bodega. At 10:14 a.m., Big Mike Bronston exits the bathroom wearing his reflector vest, hard hat, and already sweaty from the morning's work. Big Mike will pick up the 6 breakfast sandwiches he ordered as an offering to his foreman. He is late again, as Big Mike always is. Today, his team is on the platform of the 46th Street subway station, updating the train tracks by painting certain switches with red paint and others with green paint. Your city tax dollars help Big Mike and his co-workers close the local line on the 7 train from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There is nothing suspicious about this. At 11:24 a.m., Big Mike pretends to charge his phone with a dangling charger on the public emergency call box. He sneaks the cord under his glove to plug into the port on his wrist to connect surreptitiously with the local infrastructure. In 10 minutes, he will have totally replenished his body's internal supply of aether. His co-workers know, because of his famous temper, to leave him alone. They know that his depression is flaring and his Irish heritage translates into verbal confrontations. So, if Big Mike decides to take a 10-minute break, they let him take it. Mike looks over the neighborhood from the subway platform and sees the city block quarantined off by a plywood wall. In the wreckage of a fire from last Saturday, the one that claimed 3 local businesses and a radio shack, Mike sees charred brick, blackened drywall, and the Angel. This is the 3rd day in a row that the same Angel has roamed the demolition area. It is disguised as a man. The same nondescript man in the out-of-place black suit holding a black briefcase. The city will not allow the demolition and clear out of the rubble. This makes Mike suspicious. Mike activates an embed that picks up on key words. The Angel disguised as a nondescript man moves his lips, then looks up, directly at Mike. But Mike is already gone, back to work with the paint and the bolt cutters and the casual sexual puns of his coworkers. You know those tall white pillars that look like speakers? The ones at the tops of most apartment buildings? Most of them are sensors for the local weather station, but many, about 10%, collect data for something else. Something larger, hiding in plain sight. Almost 4 years ago, an Angel would update these plastic white panels. It would plug in new wires, adjust the direction they faced, and drain the blood from the plastic tray in the back. The Angel did this until the graffiti appeared, taunting it. One day, the Angel trapped the person tampering with the weather sensors. The defacer named itself Gordon Rhodes, and after a lengthy discussion, debate, and very dirty fight, the Angel fell, and the demon Eye in the Sky lay among the wreckage. Big Mike, Ashley Burke, and the unchained demon known as Eye in the Sky feel a pang of remorse whenever they see a weather detection array slightly ajar. It means that the God Machine hasn't created another Angel to replace them. Perhaps it abandoned the project entirely. Perhaps Gordon Rhodes was right all along, and they were never necessary. Gordon once told Eye in the Sky that seeing isn't always believing, but believing is believing. Big Mike is having a cigarette when an Uber pulls up alongside him and turns on its blinkers. Big Mike is worried about stepping into the car. A big man like he, stepping into a fancy car in the middle of the workday, would be suspicious to passers-by. He risks it, and as he slides into the seat, Ashley Burke smiles at the driver. The driver is a heavy-set Filipino man with a large round face and tiny features. On their agency's internal chat, he goes by Mr. Stillframe.
"Sorry, ma'am, I'm off the clock," he says in Esperanto, which to anyone uneducated would sound like Asian gibberish.
Ashley responds with the correct code in Esperanto. She is not compromised.
In stilted phrases, Mr. Stillframe asks about the Angel in the rubble. Eye in the Sky reports that it has become suspicious, but hasn't found what it's looking for. They may have some theories, but it's not worth speculating out loud until they have proof. The God Machine is always watching, always listening, after all. And just because Mr. Stillframe says his car is laced with a language-scrambling embed, doesn't mean he's telling the truth.
Ashley continues the small talk as Mr. Stillframe turns off just before the Manhattan Bridge, heading back toward Astoria. Mr. Stillframe already knows the location. It is not suspicious that someone like Ashley would take an Uber home.
Mr. Stillframe switches to English to tell Ashley that Reziel has just texted him. He may have a lead on what the Angel is doing in the rubble. Whatever is happening, something critical was lost in the fire that took the city block last weekend. Something too important for the God Machine to copy or recreate, and something that special must be valuable.
Ashley voices concern that Gordon's USB in the park this morning wasn't updated. She mentions dropping by the communal bolt hole to locate Gordon.
To which Mr. Stillframe mentions.
What's happening? You're going to miss the green light.
Brought to you by Takeaway, your one-stop app for that no-nonsense pile in your corner. Takeaway is easy to install and even easier to use. Just open the app and your Takeaway buddy will show up wherever you are. Then you simply point and your Takeaway buddy will take it away. Nothing is too small or too large for Takeaway. Return your home to a simpler time. Think of a clean, warm beach stretching around you for miles. Think of the unbroken eternity of a clean, blue ocean before you. Think of a clean, cloudless sky above you. The stillness, the beauty. That can be your life again with Takeaway. Takeaway is the app that takes away your garbage. Return to simplicity. Let Takeaway take your clutter. Take your spring cleaning this year to the next level with Takeaway. Please share your location with Takeaway. It misses you. Takeaway! Everything must go!
At 12:09 p.m., Mr. Stillframe glitches in a convulsion of electricity and a flash of aether. Unable to control his motor functions, he slams on the gas and barrels through an intersection in residential Astoria. He clips the side of a bus, which honks, throwing Ashley Burke into the back of his seat. Needing to stop the car, Ashley risks using her EMP modification, and the satellite flips up from behind her ear. With the battery shorted, the car locks up, barely missing a fire hydrant and a halal cart. Ashley feels the early stages of a black eye and bruising along her chest, but otherwise she is physically stable. What happened?
I don't know. Something just scrambled me from the inside. For a minute there, I lost myself. One of my covers has been compromised. I no longer have access to Lila Cleghorn.
Stay down. Your face is glitching.
I feel it. What do I look like?
Broken nose, missing front teeth from the steering wheel, but your hair is neon pink, and you're bleeding solder. Don't leave the car.
People are looking out their windows. Others are coming. I can sense camera phones.
Put your jacket over your face. Now. At 12:11 p.m., Ashley Burke and her Uber driver step out of the car. She throws her jacket over his head and half-limps him into the Dunkin' Donuts on the block. A few people approach her and the car, and she uses an embedded ability, mentioning something about irresponsible day drinking and leaving a bad review. Anyone who hears her believes her. She mentions something about a pacemaker to explain away the ozone-scented sparks coming from Mr. Stillframe's open mouth. A pedestrian dials 911, but the phone never connects. Ashley fast-talks her way behind the counter, grabbing the first aid kit and helping her driver into the bathroom. This is exactly what a concerned woman of Ashley's background would do in an emergency situation. They don't have time to discuss options. If Gordon were here, he would assume his cover of Officer Phillips to distract and disperse the crowd. But Gordon isn't here. If there weren't witnesses, Mr. Stillframe could merge with his car, risking the obvious weirdness of a driverless 2006 Volkswagen. Ultimately, they cut their losses and Mr. Stillframe activates an exploit. Time stops in and nearby the Dunkin' Donuts. They break in reality is just long enough for Ashley and Mr. Stillframe to walk out of the back exit. Ashley takes one last look around to sense any aether or angel movement. Her paranoia pays off and they make their move. After leaping some fences and taking an indirect route, Mr. Stillframe has stopped outwardly glitching, but his internal injuries remain. Someone uncovered something massive about his other identity, Lila Cleghorn, the corporate motivational speaker. He can no longer become the dead woman. This happened right after Raziel contacted him. There is no way that's a coincidence. This may only be an attack against Stillframe, or a coordinated assault against the agency as a whole. There is a chance that Ashley will be next to publicly glitch. Ashley will have to postpone her obligatory afternoon mommy blogging for today. She decides she must meet with Raziel in Stillframe's place, and walk directly into a trap. Ashley calls her daughter, Becky, concerned that she left her epilepsy medication at home. It is within her concerned mother persona to make the trip to deliver her daughter's life-saving medication. She needs to pick up her sunglasses anyway to cover up the black eye. If she switches covers, Big Mike would look even more out of place around Columbia University, so she has to stick with Ashley. She leaves a voice message on Becky's phone just before she boards the subway. At 3:47 p.m., Ashley's daughter, Becky, has a concerned look when she sees her mom's giant sunglasses. Neither of them address it because Becky knows that whatever her mom says will be a lie. A lie so perfectly spoken there's no way to detect it. Becky is one of the few people who knows what Ashley is behind the skin, and she has been briefed. Becky has to live with the knowledge that one day her phone may light up with a single-word message and her life will be in grave danger. She will have to put her fake medical dog tag in her mouth, activate it by biting down and running. And, when that day comes, not even heaven or hell can save her. Becky is expecting her mother to smile and wave because that would not be suspicious at all, given what Ashley looks like, where she's from, and her place of white privilege. But, instead, Ashley doesn't move her mouth. She locks eyes with her daughter. She says flatly, in her natural tone, to keep an eye out and be safe. This innocuous message gives Becky a chill, and then her mother walks away. Across campus, as Ashley approaches the office for the Columbia University College radio station, her attention is drawn. One of Raziel's cryptic squirrels is dashing up a tree, its claws making metallic pings as it scrambles away. He better be expecting her company. Ashley enters the student center and heads for the second floor. The open planning and glass walls surrounding the staircase bother her. Ashley pounds on the studio door, and Raziel answers. Bloodshot, greasy, and clenched, he totally looks normal for himself. He raises a finger in protest.
I thought I was gonna meet with Mr. Stillframe.
He's preoccupied. The moment you texted him, something happened to one of his covers.
Oh, shit. I got no idea about that.
I think you're lying.
I'm not gonna move until you put the pepper spray away. Looks pretty suspicious if you ask me. Pretty, older woman on a college campus.
I'll put the pepper spray away if you guess what exploit I've attached to it. Maybe blindness? Maybe disintegrate?
Look, I don't have anything to do with whatever happened to Stillframe. This is about the block in your neighborhood. The one where the fire happened.
What do you know?
All right, right to the chase then. I've got a job for your team. Well, specifically you, since you're the unseen observer of your team. Please put the pepper spray down. I can leave the door open if you want.
Make it quick.
Thank you. Okay, look, I've got a stigmatic human, a loyal listener to the radio show. He's followed me ever since my angel days. I gave him a gadget hooked up to his Google Glass. He was checking out the place of the fire, same as your team. I didn't understand the readings at first because they kept repeating themselves, kept picking up radio signals from the area, screaming about the fire. As recently as yesterday?
I'm running out of patience.
Okay, whoa, it's a time splinter. You see? That tiny city block with the donut shop, a pharmacy, a radio shack, it's still on fire. The God Machine torched the block for some reason and then saved it externally, but only for the night everything caught fire.
I'm not investigating a time splinter, especially for such a short time frame. If it resets while I'm still inside, I integrate and become part of the repeat. Maybe you should go in my place, Raziel. You're that desperate to get back in good with the God Machine.
Don't fucking shame me! Look, just because I'm an integrator doesn't mean I'm stupid. I got no talent for stealth, but you do. Something precious to the God Machine is trapped in that time loop. Something so necessary that the GM is moving fast. You and I both know the GM doesn't do anything fast unless there's a huge problem. Please, my listener, his name is Steven. He went in for a closer look, and I think he got trapped. Okay, pepper spray's back. Not surprised. Both hands up. I'm not a threat. I'm not trying to appeal to any sense of duty or humanity. You're just the right demon for the job. If it's a wild goose chase, then I'm just as exposed as you are. Talk it over with your team, but do it quickly. Every time I get the repeated reading from Steven, it gets cut off sooner and sooner, so our window to act is closing.
I'll go tonight.
Hey, look, you know I'm not like you. I'm not unchained. I can't lie perfectly the way that you do. I can't fake it as good. Just think of it as I'm so concerned over my listener, I'm willing to make a deal with you. Because I have faith in your abilities.
Let's hope that's your last mistake, Raziel. At 9:15 p.m., Ashley Burke still hasn't heard back yet from Gordon. This concerns her. Mr. Stillframe made it to the bolt hole, and hopefully her neighbors didn't notice. With him out of the driver's seat, the car will seem more like a regular car, so the police and the tow trucks will believe the eyewitness testimonies. Drunk driver ran out of the back of the Dunkin' Donuts because he didn't have insurance. All bases covered. Now she just has to go into an unknown time splinter, recover a missing person, and leave before getting stuck in a repeated fire and collapsed building. Maybe if she's quick enough, she'll be home in time to catch Stephen Colbert. Ashley keeps an eye out for the man in black that Big Mike saw this morning. There is nobody. She faces the plywood wall. A diamond shape is cut into the wall, and as soon as the last gawker takes a photo of the burnt wreckage, she makes her move.
Chroniclers of Darkness is written and produced by Uncle Yo, with performances by Alissa Stahler. Original music by Jimmy Lynn. Logo by Jesse Pascal. Original artwork by Miranda Leggy and Babs. Special thanks to White Wolf and Onyx Path Publishing for the inside intel on the God Machine's infrastructures. Game on, include everyone, and remember that death is better than reintegration.